Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Energy is the major need today, and clean energy, perpetual energy, is something that is always welcome. At the same time, historically we see that nuclear fission was responsible for a lot of energy, and most of the atomic reactors that have been set up depend on that, which gives a clean energy, but there is a downside to that. And that downside is a radioactive waste, which is sealed into containers, and lead containers are sunk either into a deep sea or sent into space. And the scientists for a long time have been working, thinking that nuclear fission is not required. What is really needed is nuclear fusion. And nuclear fusion is the holy grail of unlimited zero carbon energy. Again, unlimited, harmless, zero carbon, and is virtually the cleanest and the limitless energy source that could power the future. In reality, researchers were confident that it could work, but it always remained a dream. Potential offerings of inexhaustible zero carbon energy. It has shown promise for decades, but was not viable. However, there is a breakthrough, and that is what would calm the fears of the people who talk of pollution because of energy, because the potential of replacing the energy by the fossil fuels. And again, the credit goes to China. China Institute of Plasma Physics has already set up a milestone in the fusion journey in its experimental advanced superconducting tokamak, East. Very appropriate, China is in East, and the hope of the world is in East. The Chinese scientists have built a fusion reactor that has become the first in the history of the world, and that is million degrees of Celsius. The temperature they have achieved is million degrees. That is 7 times hotter than the sun's core. And that is the temperature when hydrogen atoms can merge into and fuse into helium. As a matter of fact, the achievement of China has provided insight for the International Thermonuclear Experiment Reactor, ITER project. Now, this project is a collaboration with European Union, China, Russia, South Korea, and northern states, including Canada. And they have an estimated cost of $25 billion. The consortium is building a prototype fusion reactor. China has already built it, achieving 100 million degrees Celsius temperature, and this international consortium of which China is a part is still building it. Now, here is something. China is a part, and China has been conducting its work independently as well, without the knowledge of these people, and all of a sudden they say, okay, we are successful. That means they were working at two levels, at national level and at international level. And as a matter of fact, last year only, UK venture company Tokamak Energy announced plasma has already also reached 15 million degrees Celsius for the first time. But then look at the difference. UK could reach 15 million Celsius, China 100 million Celsius. That's the difference. The Commonwealth Fusion System is collaborating with MIT in designing a fusion reactor that would produce more power than 20 states of USA consume every day. Their research would be complementary to International Thermonuclear Experiment Reactor. And the Canadian government has announced that it's investing 37.5 million. Now, compared to 25 billion and others, 37 billion is not a big thing, and they are giving to General Fusion. And what they are doing is magnetized target fusion. Now, I've been talking of fusion. But then what is fusion? Fusion is the reaction that powers the sun. Fusion, sorry, give me a couple of seconds, please. Fusion is produced when two light atoms fuse into one, become one under extreme pressure and temperature. And amazingly, the volume, the total mass of the two atoms fused together is less than the combined mass of the two independent atoms. The missing mass is given off as energy. And Einstein's famous equation E is equal to mc2 is explanation of that. Now fission, which is the energy source at present as I talk, is splitting of an atom. And here it is combining of the atom. And fusion has potential to deliver much more power than fission does without being radioactive, wasteful effect. And there are several recipes for cooking of fusion, but what China has done is something which is a winning recipe. And the most promising combination for power today is fusion of deuterium atom with a deuterium atom. The process, which requires temperature to approximately 39 million Celsius, produces 17.6 million electron volts of energy. 17.6 million. Can you believe that deuterium is useful because it's an isotope of hydrogen? And hydrogen is a key part of water. With the help of fusion, 1 gallon of seawater, 1 gallon, 3.8 liters, that means, could produce as much energy as 300 gallons of petrol. So 1 gallon of seawater and 100 gallons of petrol, they provide the same energy. Now, this is enhancing the real frontiers of knowledge. And how does fusion happen? It occurs when the atoms are heated to a very high temperature, causing them to collide at a high velocity and fuse together. When two light nuclei collide to form a heavier nucleus, the process releases an unimaginable amount of energy. And as I said earlier, this reaction of nature understood by man now is what powers the sun. And what powers the sun can power this universe as well, and would calm down all those people who are against real progress, which needs energy. Now, while fusion does offer prospect of a clean source of energy, it also presented many scientific challenges. In the sun, what happens is massive gravitational forces create the right conditions for fusion. But on Earth, those conditions are very hard to achieve. And that is why what China has done in producing 7 times more capability than Sun has is something to marvel at. It's easy to criticize, and the people have been critical of China, that it has denigrated human rights and things like that. But you have to sacrifice to achieve something. Secondly, the fusion fuel, different isotopes of hydrogen, have to be heated under extreme temperature and kept under stable conditions while under intense pressure. But at the same time, they have to be dense enough and confined for a long time to allow the nuclei to fuse. And this is where MIT has come into picture. They have designed a new compact fusion reactor that can deliver power output. And the hope is what China has done, and with the reactor that MIT is building, by the next decade, we shall have absolutely zero waste, clean, not renewable, but everlasting, enduring, eternal energy. Hats off for this effort, which has been a dream of the nuclear scientists, and China has achieved it. And now something very interesting. Again, nature comes to the help of man, or rather, man who could never understand the real intricacies of nature keeps on researching nature to use it. Malaria is one of the major issues which are supposed to be wiped out, but again has made a comeback. And now the researchers at the University of Maryland have funnel web genes. They have used that. The genes of spiders, making them into modified fungus and kill malaria carrying mosquitoes. What they have done is that the whole population of malaria in one region was eradicated in just 45 days. Malaria affects today 200 million people a year and kills 400,000 people every year. And this effort of University of Maryland is that this fungus risk killing other organisms would not be there, and the mosquitoes which had developed resistance to the pesticide would be an easy prey. And that is great. But before we end, I'd like to let you know that one thing more. Again, the Chinese achievement. They have been building superfast trains, aeroplanes, but now they are making a flying train. It's a supersonic flying train would reach a speed of 4,000 kilometers per hour. A major competition to Hyperloop. The Chinese Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation announced 3 days back that a high-speed flying train would reach 4,000 kilometers per hour, and it will be 10 times faster than the world's fastest bullet train, which is also in China 4 times faster than the commercial flights and 3 times the sound of speed. So Mach 3. It is a passenger pod that uses magnetic leviathan and travels in a tube of vacuum. The concept is similar to Hyperloop, but the speed of Hyperloop is just 1200 kilometers an hour, and here it would be 4000 kilometers an hour. As a matter of fact, there are 2000 patents owned by this organization, which they are combining. And not only that, they are going to export this flying train to the countries that are part of Chinese one belt, one road system. In other words, colonization in a new shape. You get this only if you accept their one belt, one road scheme. So economic predominance, and when you predominate the country economically, you dominate it politically as well. So that is what is really happening, and that frontier of knowledge is ever widening. I'm sure that you are excited at these developments, especially at nuclear fission, and more we talk next time. Thank you.